Hey friends, welcome back to Mustard Seed Homesteading. If you're new to my channel, my name is Megan and I'm so glad that you came by today. What I want to do with you all is go around and harvest my herbs. Now, I don't know about you, but I know for me, when I get very busy with the summer garden, I tend to forget about my herbs. And so I thought it would be perfect for us to not only go and check to see how they're doing, but to go ahead and harvest some. All right, friends, well, I want to quickly start off by giving you a quick look at all of the herbs. So if you're new to my channel, I have decided to use these rolling carts, which I absolutely love these so much because they roll, they have a handle, and they're just very easy to move around and to work with. But I had decided to take individual grow bags, as you can see here, and plant different herbs for a few reasons. One, I wanted to be able to plant a whole bunch of herbs in one spot without one being very invasive. And then also the other reason is if, let's say, there was a huge bug infestation with this, I could take this out, take care of it, while the rest of them could be left untouched. Hopefully no pests would get onto those, and that I would catch the one that did have pests in time to take care of it without it affecting the other ones. So those were some of the reasons of why I chose to have them in here. But also the fact that I can just come right out of my garage door and come over here and snip off some herbs was the other reason. And so far, you guys, I have really enjoyed having them in these rolling carts in the bags. So we're going to go ahead and harvest from here first. Something I do want to quickly add, as we're harvesting from these bags, you're going to see that a few of them look empty, like I didn't plant anything in there, but I did plant all of these bags back in the springtime. I replenished them with compost, added straw to them. It's just that some of them did not germinate, and being that I'm in a growing zone 8B Central Alabama, I do have time to add more seed and hopefully try to start some new herbs or try to start those herbs again before the frost happens. And I just want to show you real quick how I bring my herbs out to the garden. I've shared this before on previous videos. I love these containers. I bought these at the Dollar Tree a while back, probably maybe a year and a half ago. So I don't know if they still have them, but they always come out with new containers. So I just thought this was perfect. It kind of separated my herbs from other seeds. So that way I know, okay, these are my herbs and I need to take them out. So I just wanted to quickly show you. All right, so I wish there was a way to have my face on the camera and talk to you while I harvest, but these are so low that I can't do that. So we're gonna go ahead and just talk about what it is that I'm harvesting, and then we're gonna quickly harvest this together. So this first one right here is my lavender, and I actually have some more here, so I will move the camera down as I am harvesting. Now, I will say when I first started lavender, I did not do very well as far as getting it germinated, but as far as getting it going and then establishing itself and staying established, that was really, really hard for me. And so I'm very grateful that, as you know, if you've been watching me, I don't like to give up easily. And so I kept trying and trying. And you guys, this came back from last year. So I'm really, really happy that it did. And now I have a few bags, and there's actually a bag way back in the garden. Hopefully we have some time for me to show you. If I don't, it's okay, because there's plenty here for me to harvest with you all. But I'm so happy that I have this established now, because I cannot tell you how nice it is to grow lavender. These two right here are also lavender, so I'm gonna go ahead and harvest that. Now, these two bags right here are completely empty. One was cumin. I had another one that was parsley over here in the corner, and it's not really doing very well. So these are going to be the bags that I add more seed to, and hopefully you guys, I can get that established before the winter time. And if it gets established, then depending on the herb, because some are not perennial, some you do have to start every year. But if they're perennial and I can get them established now, I could probably have it come back next spring. That's what happened to my oregano last year. All right, friends, here's my other lavender plant. I cannot begin to tell you how beautiful this stuff smells. It is absolutely so beautiful smelling. Now, when it comes to my herbs, my favorite way of preserving is my freeze dryer. I had invested in a freeze dryer a couple years ago, and I'm really glad that I did, because I freeze dry pretty much all of my herbs are freeze dried. I have tried hanging my herbs before, and while I've had great success with that, I just found that my freeze dryer when I use it, the herb literally smells or tastes just like it did when you freshly pick it. So that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing with all of these herbs, is freeze drying. Now this bed, real quick, I want to tell you a little bit about this bed. So here's a little bit left over of my lavender. We're going to harvest that, but the rest right here is my oregano. Now, a little something that I dealt with when I first started growing oregano, it germinated beautifully, but you guys, when I put it in the bag after I germinated it thinking it was going to grow beautifully that year, it really didn't do a whole lot. And then this year it just exploded and it grew beautifully. So I say that to say that if you don't see the best results when you first start, don't give up yet and don't get worried. Give it another year and just see what happens. Because for me, it did even better the second year that it grew. All right, let's go ahead now and let's harvest some of this gorgeous lavender. It smells so good, you guys. So I have a question for you all. What herbs, or did you grow any herbs this summer or springtime? Are you planning on starting any herbs for the fall and getting something established? I would really love to know, because, you know, I'm still learning a lot about herbs. I don't know everything, but I want to learn more. I want to be able to grow more and learn their uses. I do have a couple of herbal books that I have to be able to reference to. So I'm very happy for that, which is why I'm growing some of these, especially lavender, to be able to use that for many things. And then of course, herbs like oregano and parsley just to use in the kitchen instead of having to buy herbs because they're so expensive. But I would definitely be curious to know if you are going to be starting any herbs for the fall. All right, friends, I got my little basket and we're gonna go ahead and harvest some of the oregano. This right here gets me very excited, like I said, because I want to be able to also eliminate having to spend extra money on herbs when I can grow them myself. At the end of the month, at the end of the day, it does save a lot of money on our overall budget, which makes me very happy. And there's just nothing like homegrown herbs, you guys. It is just the most beautiful smelling, tasting thing that you could ever do is grow your own herbs. And for me, while some have been really difficult, it's also been kind of easy and hands-off, which is why I love to do separate videos harvesting and showing the herbs, because it really can save a lot of money. All right, friends, look at all of this oregano we got, and there was still a little bit more I could have gotten, but I'm just gonna leave it be. Let's go ahead and harvest some more herbs. All right, so now we have these 3 carts left, and I'm actually not going to harvest any of the bee balm down here because that is all bee balm. I'm going to focus on the thyme, the rosemary, and a little bit of sage. Now, something I do want to mention about this particular bed, so this is my catnip. I'm not going to harvest anything from that because it's not looking the prettiest, but I also have quite a bit, so I don't need to harvest any more. But here's what I want to show you. So I had planted some thyme earlier in the springtime here, as well as here and here. Now these 2 over here did not really germinate much. This one is doing fairly okay, but I'm gonna have to replant some seeds in here. But this one seems to be doing very well, so I am going to harvest a little bit of that. And then this bag is the marjoram. Now I just started this year, and while obviously you can see there's really nothing to show here for marjoram, I do see a little bit, which to me, I think, based off what I saw and observed with the oregano, this is going to be beautiful next year. that's what I'm hoping for, and that's what I think will happen. Now I will add some more seed in here just to make sure that it has plenty of seed to germinate. Whether I get some for the fall time or next year, I'm just trying to get this established so that at some point I can harvest. All right, friends, we're gonna go ahead and harvest this. Now, this area next to my retaining wall is it gets the least amount of light and sun, so I am starting to lose a little bit of light because we're getting some gray skies. I will say the weather has been so nice, you guys, just to have a break with the heat. The heat has been it's been brutal. And while I don't mind working in the heat, to have it day after day after day is it does take a toll. So I'm really glad that we have some gray skies and just some cooler weather. It just makes it much more comfortable out here, but it doesn't make for a great recording. So because this area right here does not get a lot of light and we are getting some gray skies right now, I'm just gonna go ahead and harvest the rest of this. And then we're gonna move over to the green stalks and harvest some mint. And then we're gonna see everything that we harvested at the end. All right, let's go ahead and harvest some mint. I normally do this on my GREENSTALK garden tours, but I realized that I hadn't been harvesting these enough, and I love to put this or infuse it in my water. So I'm like, you know what, we're gonna go ahead and harvest this, but we are losing. You guys, I love when it's gray skies and it's not super bright. It just makes for a good mood just to be outside and garden, but I'm trying to rush so that you can still see my face and everything, because then the camera doesn't focus very well. But I'm trying to also enjoy the weather right now because, you guys, it is so pretty. Let's go ahead and harvest. So this right here is my, what is this? Spearmint, right? Yes, spearmint. Sorry, I had to think about that. So I'm gonna go ahead and harvest some of this. Mints are one of my favorite things to harvest. They are just refreshing. They smell good. They come back every year. It is a new gardener's best friend to grow mints. You know why? Because they're very hard to kill. So for me, when I saw that mojito mint come back after I grew it, or I planted it in the green stalk, I cannot tell you how much encouragement I got from that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't kill it. It came back. So mint is always going to be something that I grow, and something I will always encourage, well, any gardener, whether you're new or not, to grow. But especially for a new gardener, I think mint is one of the best things to start with. All right, now we're going to harvest the peppermint. The color of peppermint, I think, is absolutely beautiful. Let me show you real close. It's like this beautiful dark green, and it's got hues of purple. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can zoom in without it. Hopefully you can see the color of them. They're just it's a beautiful green, and then the stems are kind of purplish. It's absolutely beautiful, and it smells amazing. All right, now this tower right here is my mojito mint and my perennial tower. So I am going to, let me show you here. The rest of this is yarrow, stinging nettle, and marshmallow. I'm going to go ahead and harvest some of this as much as I can. I might even have to show you the end of the harvest in the garage again because I don't want to lose focus and light. So I'm going to go ahead and harvest the mojito mint and the rest of this, and I'll show you what we get. Well, guys, it got dark out, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish harvesting this, and then, like I said, we're gonna go in the garage. I am going to probably insert a clip of me harvesting the lemon balm tomorrow and just add it to this video because, like I said, I'm losing light and I don't want to videotape or show you anything that is too dark for you to see. I have a lot of lemon balm not only growing in my pots back there, but in the ground, and I want you to be able to see all that. So I will insert that clip now so that you can see all that, and then I'll meet you in the garage at the very end. All right, this is the clip that I'm inserting into the herb garden tour and harvest. So these are my lemon balms that I've had in these pots, I want to say going on 3 years now. And you guys, I actually neglected these and they haven't been watered. I watered them last night, but you can tell some of it's looking pretty good, but some of it's looking pretty not so good. But you can see that there's more growing. Lemon balm always grows back. This is a really great herb to have, but I'm so grateful that I have lemon balm that grows in other spots in the garden, because look at this lemon balm growing out of the ground, and this one right here, and that's where we're going to harvest some lemon balm. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. So I went ahead and harvested most of the lemon balm here that was growing out of the ground, as well as here. And you can see there's still quite a bit left. And I'm sure it's going to grow again. I could probably harvest 1 or 2 more times before the frost hits. But I feel like we got a good amount here that I plan to preserve. This, I will go through, clean it, and then more than likely I'm just going to freeze dry this. I don't really think I'm going to do anything else with it. And then I did grab some that didn't look so good. I'm going to toss that. So very happy with all the lemon balm. I want to quickly share this plant because I had just purchased this year from Azure. It is ashwagandha. Now, because my garden, this entire garden has had me super busy, I have neglected, now I've watered it, but I've neglected it as far as harvesting and knowing how to harvest and what to do with it. And so this actually was just infested with a whole bunch of like squash bugs, those little red bug looking things. And so I brought it out here. I need to babysit this and I need to care for it a little bit more. I kind of wish I was able to harvest from it, but you guys, that's what happens sometimes. You get busy and sometimes you forget plants, and that's okay. It happens. But I did want to show you, I do have an ashwagandha. So I'm going to kind of nurse that. And then I do have a St. John's wort. I've had a really hard time with St. John's wort. I don't know why, but I have. And then there is my mullein. That's a first year mullein. That back there is a second year. And again, I've kind of neglected that too, because I know the second year with the flowers, that's where all the good stuff is. So, you know, it happens. But I just want to show you what I do have back here. I think what I'm going to do is just stick with harvesting the lemon balm back here, because the Tulsi holy basil, I've just been harvesting those when I need them for tea. Otherwise, I do actually have some basil. I'm just talking out loud here. Some dwarf basil that I might harvest, but I have a lot of yellowing here too. So I might just cut that back, because I will get more of this before the frost hits, just because our fall here is pretty mild. So I might even just cut this back and then let it regrow again, since the heat has kind of died down. But that's what we have back here. And now back to the video. All right, so we're in my garage. Thank goodness for seedling lights on the racks, because it gives me pretty good lighting when it comes to me having to talk in my garage and show these harvests when it gets too dark, because evening times are just typically a better time for me to come out here because of my schedule and just everything that I have going on. But with that being said, let's go ahead and see what we harvested today. So I already showed you the lemon balm and anything that I decided to harvest out of the garden before this last clip, but let's go ahead and see what we got on the original day that we harvested some of the herbs. All right, so I absolutely love these trays, you guys. So this tray that has the dividers like this is from Bootstrap Farmer. I know one of my viewers had asked if I had an affiliate code. I am trying my hardest to figure out how to work with them, but the Shopify and everything, it's been really difficult. It's not very easy. It's not an easy process, I should say, to try to get an affiliate with them. But in the meantime, I will say I love my Bootstrap Farmer trays. And so this one in particular has dividers. Now these are kind of a shorter one. I do have taller ones too. And this is just really great to start a bunch of seeds in one tray, or microgreens. I have a bunch of different trays and I really do love them very much. So with that being said, I've been using it this year to divide my peppers for my my backyard garden tours, and I thought it'd be perfect to do my herbs. So with all of that, I want to show you what we harvested together. So I did go ahead and get 3 trays of lavender. You guys, this stuff smells so amazing, and I'm so happy that I have some lavender plants established. I mean, my hopes is that it comes back every year, because there's always that chance that it won't, but this year it came back so lovely. And then at the very end over here, I had to keep it separate because I don't know about you, but to me, rosemary and lavender, I mean, obviously you can smell the difference, but they kind of look the same. So we have a whole tray of rosemary, and then I was able to get a whole bunch of sage. I didn't really get a chance to show you because I wanted to hurry up and harvest all of the sage over there before it got too dark out. So this has been nice to harvest. I've been actually saving up as much sage as possible just so that I have that herb on hand. And then over here is our thyme. I'm really happy that I was able to harvest something, because I feel like this one is kind of hard for me to grow. I'm hoping next year, I am going to throw some more seeds in the bags, but I'm hoping next year I'll have an even bigger harvest of thyme. And then we have our oregano. This right here gets me As I said before, I'm very excited about the oregano because last year, and I think even the year before that, I was really bummed because I really did not get much and it didn't look like anything was happening. But like I said, because I don't like to give up, I threw some more seed in there. I think I started some from seed in the garage over the winter. I can't remember, but either way, I did throw some more seed in there and we got ourselves a good amount of oregano. And I actually had harvested oregano earlier in the year too. So I have a really good supply of it in the house as well. So very, very happy about this. Then as I showed earlier in the video, I went over to the GREENSTALKs and I went ahead and harvested some stinging nettle, some marshmallow leaves only, and then 3 different types of mint. And then I did grab some Tulsi Holy Basil to make some tea, and I'll show that to you in just a second. But I just put it on one of my flat Bootstrap Farmer trays, and this is all the stinging nettle that we got. Now, what I'll do with this is clean it and then use that in the freeze dryer. I'll actually show you my freeze dryer towards the end of the video so you can see what it is that I'm talking about. So if you're new to my channel or you've never heard of one, I'll show you what that looks like and the process, or what I do in the process of freeze drying all of my herbs. Now we have the marshmallow leaves. Like I told you, I am new to stinging nettle and marshmallow as well as yarrow. I didn't harvest any of the yarrow because it's just leaves and I have to read up on it a little bit more. I'm sure you could probably use the leaves of the yarrow, but I haven't looked it up yet. Now this, I do plan to take all of the good leaves off and freeze dry them. Now I'm going to be looking this up a little bit more because like I said, this is new for me as well as the stinging nettle, but I know there's wonderful benefits to marshmallow or marshmallow. I don't know the right pronunciation for it. I want to just say marshmallow, but this as well as the benefits of stinging nettle, I know a little bit, but I need to look up a little more on what it is that they do. But in the meantime, I love the fact that they're growing very well in the GREENSTALKs. It's been very nice to have right there on my driveway so that I can harvest very easily and quickly when I want to. All right, last but not least is my mints. Now I love my mints. I infuse this in my water and make mint water and just add a splash of lemon. It is so refreshing and so delicious. But this one, which is my favorite, is all of the mojito mint. And then right here we have, you get a close up, we have all the peppermint, and then we do have some spearmint. My goal is to harvest my mints a little bit more often before the frost hits. I don't feel like I've harvested enough of my mint, so I'm going to hopefully be doing that. I might even just add that to all of my backyard garden chores every week and just harvest as much as I can. But we got a good amount and I plan to freeze dry this as well. Now I do want to quickly share with you all how I preserve my herbs because I think that is just as important as growing and harvesting your herbs. And I did make a video probably about a year ago now of the start to finish of harvesting and preserving my mints as well as my lemon balm. I'll leave that video down below if you are interested in watching that, but I just want to share with you that my favorite way is the freeze dryer. Now I'm not an affiliate with Harvest Right Freeze Dryer. That's where I purchased my freeze dryer from. I just invested in one a few years ago for many reasons, and when I went ahead and I tried to preserve my herbs, I just love the way that they came out. Now I have hung dried my herbs before. I've shared that before in a paper bag to cover it, protect it out here in the garage where it has a good temperature. And while that worked, and I would do that again, I just have really enjoyed the freeze dryer for freezing my herbs, especially because the shelf life on freeze drying is a lot longer and I don't go through my herbs as quick as I would like to. And so just knowing that it has a longer shelf life gives me some comfort in knowing that it's not going to go bad on me. So I do want to show you the freeze dryer and just kind of talk to you about the process a little bit so you have an idea of what it is. So here's the freeze dryer. Now I decided to get the medium size. They do have small, medium, large. A small has 3 shelves, medium has 1, 2, 3, 4 shelves, and then the large has 5 shelves. For me, the medium was perfect. And then what I did was I bought a little rolling metal cart to put it on so that it was stabilized. And it's right here by my door so I can keep an eye on it every time I put batches in. And here's what the inside looks like. And you can always take this out and that to wipe and clean up in there as well. But that's what it looks like. And then let me show you the trays. All right, friends, I am adding this to the video. For some reason, I had a recording of the trays, but I wasn't talking, so I don't know what happened there. Anyways, these are what the trays look like. I will clean my herbs and I will fill this tray up and not go past this line. And then I will stick this entire thing in the freezer for about 24 to 48 hours. And then I will stick it into the freeze dryer. And the reason I don't put it in here to freeze is that this machine takes up more energy than me just sticking this in the freezer. So I'm kind of getting it ready so that this machine doesn't work extra and waste more electricity. And then once I stick it in here, it may freeze for a little bit just because putting product in, the machine has to read what's in there, but then it will vacuum seal the product, and then it will dry the product, and then it'll let me know when it's done. So I just wanted to quickly show you the trays. And then these silicone mats I did buy extra. It just makes cleanup so much more simple. I almost forgot, friends. I did harvest some Tulsi holy basil. That was actually in my perennial tower. It was not supposed to be in there, but that happens because Tulsi holy basil seed, just when it flies, it gets in everything. And once you plant Tulsi holy basil, friends, it's going to grow in other spots. Just be prepared for that. But I did go ahead and get this so that we can make some more tea. Well, friends, at the very end of spring, beginning summer, I had a lot of ambition to start some herbs and establish some new herbs, and then also harvest and continually harvest throughout the summertime. And while I did a little bit, I didn't do as much as I was hoping to. So I figured, you know what? Let me share with everybody and remind everybody to continue to harvest those herbs before the frost hits. And then at the very least, start to establish some new ones so that they can be ready for spring next year. I know for me with my garden, not only is it the time to transition from summer to fall, but it's also this time of the year where I'm rethinking my garden and what it is that I want from it next year. So friends, I want you to know how much I appreciate every single one of you, and I always look forward to doing these videos every week because, as I've said before, my goal with this channel is to always be transparent about my garden journey, from everything that has failed to everything that has been successful and all in between. And I want to make sure that I'm always conveying that if I can do it, friends, you can do it too. So I look forward to seeing you all next time, and always remember this, friends. I want you to be encouraged, stay encouraged, and always stay inspired. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.